Shall we get started?
Of course. So firstly, welcome everybody. It's fantastic to see everybody, and everyone's still smiling, even though you've probably done about 5 hours on video today. So I really appreciate the smiles. They're greatest smiles than I've had on some of my tax calls. So to introduce myself, I'm Siobhan Godley. I'm a tax partner at Deloitte, and I lead our real estate tax business and general business at Deloitte also. And I'm also chairwoman of Crew UK. And I'm delighted to welcome you all today. In particular, welcome and thank you to Kelly Williams, our programme lead for Crew UK Connect. It's fantastic to have Kelly on board, and I know behind the scenes with Michelle, she's worked super hard to bring this programme alive and make today possible. So a big thank you to Kelly and Michelle. And then also to our panellists who are joining us today, who are very notorious as leaders in their businesses and fields. Amanda Clack, head of strategic advisory at CBRE, and an author. Amazing to have you join us today. Adina David, who has founded Women in Real Estate. Look forward to hearing from her. And also Jennie, Dorsaint, partner at Hastings. And we're going to move on to a panel session really focused on diversity and inclusion. And believe me, when we thought about that agenda title for the launch a number of weeks ago, I never thought how timely it would be with the events that have happened in the world in the last few weeks, and some of the things we're experiencing and seeing both in the outside world and in our own spheres. So we're launching the programme today, and we're introducing 25 mentors to 50 mentees. That's going to be a lot of connections. If we could do at the end of this a spidergram of the networks that we'll have created, it will be awesome. It would probably be better than any neuron that we could create in real estate. And I'm really excited about connecting senior women and leaders with women and leaders who are developing their careers and looking for, really, in my view, what most mentees ask me for is to answer two fundamental questions working with them. How can I propel myself forward to the career that I want, the lifestyle I want, and what's holding me back from that? And pretty intense questions to work through. And I'm hoping that we can be brave and confident in working on that together. Also, just to our mentees, it's a fallacy that the mentor-mentee relationship is a one-way street. We as mentors will gain so much from mentoring you. You'll keep us real. You'll give us some more insights that we miss. The minute you become most senior in an organisation, you hear the less. So please share, keep us relevant, and make it two-way. So on that note, I know we'll have many conversations as time goes on, but I would really like to introduce Kelly to talk a bit more about the programme.
Siobhan, before Kelly gets started, I just wanted to say a little bit as well, if that's all right.
Of course, Michelle, thank you.
Of course, yeah, of course. For everyone who doesn't know, I'm Michelle Cooper. I'm the program consultant for Crew UK, and I'm also the face behind all of the emails that you've been receiving about Crew UK Connect. So I just want to say, complimenting Siobhan, thank you for everyone's engagement and support of the program. We are really excited for this launch. Before we begin our conversation with our panelists, I would like to summarize how the mentorship program came together, enhancing what Siobhan said. And as real estate professionals, we can all appreciate a good news story as told by numbers, whether it be a budget, a schedule, revenue. But in this case, the numbers are about the mentoring team that you helped build over the last 3 weeks. When the UK board and I were strategizing around the March timeframe about how we could support the industry relative to a pilot mentorship program, and when Adina David, our collaborator, when Adina and I first connected about the idea for a platform, the consensus was to recruit 30 participants or so. So about 10 mentors and 20 mentees. We thought that was a good starting place. And as Siobhan mentioned, our primary goal was to create a supportive platform, a positive experience for you as our clients. And we also aimed to develop a platform that was very straightforward for people to access and then for people to connect and build relationships from. So with that, we started talking to mentors and mentees. I'd say within about 24 hours from sending the mentee invite, almost 50 professionals accepted. So Adina and I were just called each other and said, oh my goodness, I think we better grow this. We better grow it before it launches. So there was such a positive response that the program now includes almost 90 participants. Siobhan, I haven't spoken to you in a couple of days, but we've actually upped the mentors, 30 mentors and 60 mentees. So in other words, we've more than doubled, and we're officially launching. That is exciting news, and it's incredible news. And last night, as Kelly and I were preparing, we had a celebratory moment as this has come together in a few weeks. If I may just make one little announcement, there's a chat room. So what we're going to do is we're going to now move on to our panelist portion of our call today. And we're going to ask that, I see everyone's on mute. Just if you could please hold yourself on mute. But if you do have a question or a comment, please just tap it into the chat window, and we'll be sure to address it once the panelists are finished. So Amanda Clack, Head of Strategic Advisory at CBRE and co-author of an excellent book. Amanda, you'll be proud to know that I've tabbed the book because I think it's excellent. Between the financial information, the quotas, and the population data, and the principles of building an inclusive workplace, I must say your book is a must-read. I'm not a book critic, but I'm a huge fan. Jennie, yeah, no, it's Amanda. Adina was. She said, "Oh my goodness, Michelle, you tabbed the book." I said, "Yes, I tabbed the book." Exactly. Here you are, Amanda. You are ahead of your time, Amanda. Jennie Dorsaint, you and I just met, and I'm so pleased that you're on our panel today. You're a partner at Paul Hastings within the real estate department, and you're going to share a bit about your mentor experiences and how people have invested in you throughout your career. And Adina, will move on to you as a director of Greystar and founder of Ladies in Real Estate, and my collaborator, Kelly's collaborator. You'll talk to us about some of your favorite lessons that you've learned from your mentors. And at the end of our panel session, it would be great for each of you to maybe give a top tip to maximize the experiences that are about to be created through the program. So with that, Amanda, I'll come back to you. One of the things I like about your book is at the end of each section of it, you write a message to the CEO, and in particular, there was one of your messages included ideas about how to support women professionals and to encourage leaders to become effective mentors. So I thought today, with about 60 people on the line or so, that you could perhaps elaborate on that concept and share a little bit about what you're thinking.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, and thank you to everybody for inviting me to come and talk to you just briefly today. It's really exciting, and I think having Crew in the UK is just such a great opportunity for all of us to come together. The book, it's probably worth just kind of saying the concept around the book, because I co-authored it with Judith Gabler from the RICS, and we've donated all the royalties to Lando, the property charity. That was incredibly important to both of us, because actually it allows me to unashamedly promote the book to particularly the CEO, and actually we were going to call it the CEO Guide to Managing Diversity and Inclusion in Real Estate, but then we realised that they probably wouldn't read it. So we decided we'd do it surreptitiously and try and actually make it relevant for everybody, because actually we all have roles as leaders and role models to really sort of take that forward. There's a whole chapter on gender, unashamedly so, because basically when you look at the statistics within the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, we still only have 15% of the membership that are female. And actually, if you look at the wider statistics around LGBTQ+, or people with disabilities, or people from a BAME or different ethnicities, actually you're looking at around 1% or thereabouts. So, you know, to be able to change the dial and really do something to make an inclusive workplace is incredibly important. And through the research we were doing for the book, it really came out very, very strongly that one of the things that is absolutely key is mentoring. And, you know, too many people still are afraid to kind of reach out and ask for help and look at what a mentor can bring. So I thought I'd just touch on that in terms of why I see it so important to have a mentor. I can't remember not having a mentor, but I've had different mentors at different parts of my career and in my life journey as well. Some of them are still with me, and others have been for sort of particular issues or points in time. But mentoring does tend to be more of a longer term relationship, and you get to choose your mentor. And I think that's where it kind of becomes quite different from a coaching relationship, which tends to be for a shorter period of time and is probably more structured and more focused around the workplace. But I think one of my longer term mentees I've had for over 20 years, and it's fair to say that he's now a firm friend, and I'm godmother to his 4 girls. So actually what starts off as a sort of, you know, it is a kind of, you're asking someone to be your mentor, to get advice from somebody that you respect. But actually, through that relationship, because you're breaking down barriers, and the more open you can be as a mentor and also as a mentee, the more opportunity there is actually for really getting true value out of that relationship. And, you know, as you said, sort of, Michelle, you know, it's really important that that kind of works, and that you really kind of are as open as you can be. So I think trust is incredibly important, but it's a fantastic support network for you to have somebody there that you can feel safe with. And equally, if it doesn't work, I think it's, you know, it's okay to move on as well, because you will get different things from different people. I've also had, for the first time actually since I joined CBRE, I wanted to get a reverse mentee as I joined the organisation. I've been there 3 years now. And I asked Justin Carty, if many of you might know Justin, if he would be my reverse mentee. And it was a bit of a shock to him, first of all. And he said he felt quite uncomfortable for some of our early sessions. But actually, again, we've really got into a really nice rhythm. And for me, I just find it really invaluable. And that's what you say, the mentor and the mentee both get something out of the relationship. And I think that's incredibly important. So going into it with an open mind is kind of key. And I think, you know, the mentors have a willingness to share their skills, their experiences and knowledge and expertise of kind of like what they've been through in their own career to really help the mentee. And I think, you know, what you should be looking for in a good mentor is somebody who's going to respect the confidentiality of the relationship, who's approachable, has a good ability to listen, that's kind of honest. I think you've got to be an honest diplomat as a mentor. But also to have a level of inquisitiveness, so that you're genuinely interested in the person that's opening up to you, and that you can be objective, I think, fair, and have a degree of compassion. But there's a real onus as well on the mentee, and I think for me, I'd say that the top tip, be memorable, would be a top tip, and be open. Be open, honest, and considerate and accepting of the advice that you'll get. But I think actually, as you build that relationship, you know, potentially going forward, if you look at getting yourself a mentor, I would say you have a responsibility to really take the ownership for arranging the meetings and preparing appropriately, and then really sort of picking up and actioning the advice that you're given. It's quite interesting. I mentor about 30 odd people from all out within CBRE, and most of them actually from outside of CBRE. And I think it's really interesting in terms of what works and what doesn't. So I've got some people where the relationship feels really fluid and feels good, is actually where the mentee kind of really owns the agenda and comes in and talks freely. And I think where it's less productive is actually where people just want to come and have a chat. And whilst that's really nice, that's not what a mentoring relationship's about. So that would be my starter for 10, Michelle. Hopefully that's, I know you wanted just a snapshot.
I think it's amazing. I was just jotting some notes down, and some of the key phrases are the being open-minded and that level of trust, and certainly mentors being helpful, but this notion of being an honest diplomat and being respectful of the confidentiality, and be memorable. Yeah, it's still building our own brand, right? So I've taken my notes, Amanda. That was my 5-minute mentoring session from Amanda. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amanda. With that, Jennie, if we may move on to you, onto your perspective about mentorship. So we hosted a panel with Crew UK not too long ago about how to build your network in a virtual environment. And we had John Williams on from the Instant Group. He's head of marketing. And he asked everyone who participated, have you ever Googled yourself? So Jennie, as I said to you earlier this week, I was Googling you, and I appreciated your article that you wrote for the LiRE in honor of Black History Month, October of 2019, where you talked about supportive BAM and the importance of mentorship. And what I found most amazing out of our conversation was you said to me, Michelle, I've had so many people invest in me that I want to invest in others. So with that, would you like to expand upon that concept?
Yeah, and I have to say first, as a starting point, when I started my career, I think for 2 reasons, I didn't formally have had any mentors. First, the concept of mentor sponsor was not really the hot topic at the time, so nobody necessarily formally asked for a mentor. But also something that I realized is that my family is from the Caribbean. I was born in Montreal, as you probably noticed from the accent, and they didn't have any knowledge of this world, of professional world, didn't have any knowledge to kind of guide me and say, make sure you get yourself a mentor. But I was so lucky that in a very organic way, I ended up having loads of mentors, people throughout my career, either within my institution, my law firm, or outside, who decided to invest in me. And I think it was mutual in a way that they saw me, they recognized me, they saw my ambition. And in the same way that Amanda was mentioning, that it's a kind of 2-way relationship where I was able to kind of give them a bit of my background. If they were in my institution, I was able to support them at their work, but it was very organic. So I'm in a very lucky position that I can say I've had mentors throughout my whole career, but never had to formally ask somebody. But then if I look back at who were the key mentors that I had, especially at the beginning of my careers, I think there's 2 aspects that is really important. Amanda mentioned one of them, but it's experience and also trust. I was lucky enough that I had people who trusted me, and I think trust works in different ways. A mentor has to be able to trust that when they give you an advice, you will receive the advice and you will consider it. You have to be ready that the advice you get is not necessarily the advice you hope for, but you need that trust to be able to have that level of communications. Also, the trust works in a way that you, as a mentee, you have to feel that you can trust the person. You have to open up. You have to be transparent, and you need to feel that you're not going to be judged or you're not going to be criticized by your weaknesses. If I think about some of the example of the best mentors, I started my career in Montreal, and within 2 years of working as a lawyer, and that was following 2 years of a year of being a trainee, I decided to move to London. Now, obviously, my mentor could have said, fine, pack up, but you're wisely leaving the firm, I'm done with you. But he gave me at the time loads of advice on how to settle in a new firm, how to settle in a new environment, etc. And for me, although I didn't realize it at the end, this is how a mentor purely invested in me with no benefit to his own career, to his own path. Another example, and I'm sure everybody can really recognize it in the real estate industry, most of my mentors have not looked like me physically. But I had the benefit of mentors who were able to kind of look within their network and kind of say, hold on, well, I'm not a woman, I haven't had kids. How can I advise Jennie to that part of her career, although I haven't been in that part? And they were really good in going out to their own networks, having chat and coming back to me and say, look, I can't really help you on this, but I've spoken to so-and-so, you should speak to them, or this is what you should do. And I think, again, this is something in a mentor-mentee relationship, that it's all about the experience of the person, but it's also the mentor being able to recognize that it's not projecting their own career on the mentee. It's able to advise, to give advice and to adjust the advice so that it fits the mentee. I've had mentors who promote and make sure that I was visible to other departments, knowing that it would ultimately mean that I would spend less time on their files. So if I can echo a lot of the things that Amanda said, it's all about trust and making sure that you are transparent with your mentor.
I've just had another 5-minute mentoring session with Jennie of Dorsaint. Jennie, I'm going to, if I may, similar to Amanda, just pick out, to sort of recap the importance. Trust is one of them, but I like what you said about recognition.
Yeah.
Recognition of mentees. For the mentees, a mentor may say something to you that you weren't expecting or that you didn't want to hear, yet that the communication needs to be very open, whether it's formal or informal. It needs to be very open. It's so key. I'm American, and when I head back to the States, I ring up my former boss at Columbia University Medical Center, one of my mentors, and I say, okay, it's time, let's talk, And the same for some of my colleagues at Bank of America when I worked in project management there. So it's great to hear you and Amanda speak about over time how your relationships have developed and have been built. Sorry, a little person just dashed behind the screen. Sorry about that. Adina. So I'm going to pay another compliment to Amanda. When I first met Amanda in January, she said, there's someone you need to meet with, Adina David. And I said, right, okay, I'm going to get on that. And then I was meeting with other people in the industry, and all along the way, more people kept saying, Michelle, you need to meet Adina David. So for all of those on the line, I finally said, okay, right, I'm going to email Adina David, and let's just see if she's willing to collaborate on a mentorship program. And within 5 minutes, she emailed me back, and I thought, okay, this is it. We're going to do this. Adina, you have been, your openness to this and your partnership and your willingness to think and explore and expand is incredible. And I just want to say thank you for all that we've accomplished in such a short amount of time. And thank you to Amanda for making sure that I reached out to Adina David also many months ago. This has come together so brilliantly. So you and I have talked a lot about collaborating and relationships and the meaning of relationships and how to create positive experiences with one another, for ourselves, and obviously with people. So with that in mind, what are some valuable lessons that your mentors have shared with you?
So thank you for that. I was already warm and I feel like red from the heat, but now I'm like blushing. But thank you. As you know, I've really enjoyed working on this with you and everyone else involved, Kelly, and everyone within the Ladies in Real Estate Network and the Crew Network that have really come together to launch this. Super excited to be a part of it. And of course, I will probably echo some of the points that have already been raised by Amanda and Jennie because they're so true. And I've felt them in my relationships with my own mentors. And I similarly to Jennie's story, I sort of started in property in Bucharest, which wasn't super established. It was very male dominated. There were very few women at the top who were accessible to me, actually. And it was really only when I moved to New York 2 years in that I was able to find some senior women who really kind of opened themselves up to me. So I remember, I think I may have told you the story. I remember having lunch with someone very senior at AIG, and she shared, we talked about work, but at one point in our lunch, she shared her experience with her water birth, and I just thought, wow, no one has sat me down to talk about such a personal thing in being a senior woman talking to a very junior woman, and I thought that's such a powerful thing to share. I'm really into this. I really want more personal relationships with women in the industry. And that was really what kind of sparked the interest to start a network like Ladies in Real Estate. I had a similar thing in New York with a brunch crew with my fellow grad student ladies. We would get together on weekends once a month to have brunch. So anyway, kind of carried that on into the informal breakfast concept here because I thought it was really important for women to build personal relationships as we grow in our careers. And now, we have tried to expand it to men and bring men into the fold. Of course, I was really happy that this mentorship program is open to both, and Crew has always been open to both. So I think that's really important to keep the conversation on, with both and include both genders in it. So jotted down the kind of key lessons that I always kind of think about and turn to. Some were learned earlier on than others, but I think they're all important and they all kind of echo what has been said. The first one was to develop and nurture a love for learning. So that goes with kind of keeping the open mind and being available and open to new things around you. When I started in property, I started in commercial real estate, focusing on office, industrial, and retail on the brokerage side. And that was really exciting. When I moved to New York, went through my graduate studies, the first job that was offered to me was in multifamily or built to rent, so rental housing, right? And that was the least sexy of the asset classes. Investors looked at me like, oh, you don't know, that's not a real asset class. It just wasn't as sexy as office or retail. But obviously things have changed. So, embrace things as they come to you and try to learn and from everything that you can. A second lesson was to stay humble. I think I learned that from my brokerage days. So very early on, I think it's really important to bear that in mind. No matter what level you're at, everyone is worthy of respect. Whether you're speaking to the receptionist, to an analyst, to the CEO, people want to work with nice people. And I think it's really important to just, be kind and stay humble. And then the third, I think, was also mentioned to be proactive, and that means about your career, about your passion. Take time to kind of get to know yourself a little bit as well, or as much as you can. I think I said this on an earlier panel recently that I think now is a good time for introspection and kind of figuring out what you want to do, what you enjoy doing, or, basically taking part in a mentorship program because it can offer you new perspectives. So it could be a good time to explore new paths. But then also be proactive in, following up and chasing down people and then showing up, come with an agenda, as the others have said. Make sure to stay on top of the relationship, especially if it's one that you value, but hopefully you will find that you will value these relationships. And yeah, you will eventually, I think, find that you are on the path you're meant to be, and hopefully you're enjoying it. But those are my 3 key takeaways and top tips. One. So thank you.
I love it. So you're right. Personal and powerful relationships can be exactly that. to your credit, I think back over time. I looked on LinkedIn, and my very first boss after graduating from Cornell is celebrating like 35 years of being in business. And I was like, congratulations on LinkedIn. And that's, that was way too many years ago. You're right. Actually, they're very personal. They are powerful, and the love for learning, staying humble, being proactive. With that, Kelly Williams has taken on, in addition to being associate director at Gardner & Theobald, she's taking on the lead, the program lead for Crew UK Connect. So for the mentees and mentors on the line, whenever there's a question that pops up, please, you can email Kelly, you can email myself. We're here to support you. Mentorship Rocket is a platform. I just want to talk about that for 1 second. Mentorship Rocket is the platform. Crew Network, that's the platform that it uses for its American chapters and their mentorship programs. Kelly and I have quickly become Mentorship Rocket experts. We're still learning a little bit, but we just want to say thank you for everyone for, again, the number of emails that we've sent you saying try to activate your account, or if you couldn't activate, you've been very open and honest with us about some of the glitches. So thank you. Let that keep coming. Don't be afraid to say that something's not quite working, because we want to fix it. We want to make it right for you. And just one more message. As the program unfolds and mentors and mentees begin connecting, mentees, you'll hear from Kelly and I, because what we'd like to do is set up informal groups with 4 or 5 people to network, to meet and to network, but also to give us feedback about the program. We're going to call it Crew UK Connects Live. Just give it a reference. But we're relying on your honesty to help the program prosper and grow and improve itself where it needs to. This is a 6-month. We're calling it pilot. It's 90 people. I'm not sure we can call a pilot with 90 people, but it's the duration is 6 months, and we're very much looking forward to it continuing in January of 2021, and all of those details will of course be sorted. But Kelly, you've come on board, and we're so grateful for your participation and your leadership and your guidance on the program. For everyone on the call, Kelly, we've prepared a PowerPoint presentation. We're going to go through it really quickly and then save some time at the end of the PowerPoint for questions and or maybe comments if anyone has any thoughts that they'd like to bring up with the group that would be helpful or benefit. Like I said, we're going to save some time at the end. So Kelly, I think now that you're my co-host,
I can take over from here. Hi, everyone. First, I'd just like to say that's probably the longest I've been quiet for, and I know one of my colleagues on the line, and she can vouch for that as well. So, yes, it's great just to hear everyone's insights. So thank you all. And first of all, a huge thank you to everybody else and for all of you for your participation, both mentors and mentees. I can honestly say from where we started, Michelle and myself, and this has happened so quickly over a few weeks of developing the program and to go live today. It has been sort of a phenomenal response. Times a little overwhelming, but it's something that as Michelle and I and Adina, as we've spoke, is something that we're very, very passionate about. And it's something that we make time for. We all have busy days, and that's something that then resonates through yourselves, through your mentor and mentee relationships, something that's passionate to you. It's investing in yourself, and so really just make the time and just take advantage. It's such a fantastic opportunity. So I'm going to get the slide deck up now. I promise no death by PowerPoint, because that is one of my pet peeves. So I've kept this really high level. And as Michelle said, we will do a Q&A session at the end. I know some people don't like to sort of speak up, especially because we've got a fantastic attendance online as well. So there's also the chat box there, and we'll come and pick up the questions on the chat box and also live as well at the end. So here goes. Hopefully the technology works. She says, are we working?
yes.
Yes, it works. Okay, so this will be shared, as we said, afterwards. So as we've already said, Crew UK Connects, it's a 6-month program, and it's designed as a learning experience. It's for mentees connecting with mentors who enable knowledge sharing at a practical level. And this is something that has been created in collaboration with Ladies in Real Estate. So again, huge thanks to Adina for all the support there. During this 6-month period, mentees will have access to monthly mentoring sessions, which you'll book through the online portal. Don't worry, we've got a few screenshots, so it looks a little bit familiar before you go live into there. And during the period, with the difference with this mentoring program to a lot of the others that we've seen out there is that it's not down to Crew and to Ladies in Real Estate to assign your mentors. You have the option to choose who you connect with. And mentees have opportunity for 6 connections over the period. Now, that could be with the same person 6 times if you get on great on that first meeting, or you can meet with 2 or 3 people multiple times. It's really, find what works for you and in that relationship there. As I said, it's a path for building connections and strong relationships. It's about adding value and expanding your network. All our program mentors have been sought out for their expertise, stature, and influence across the global real estate industry. All our mentees will be able to gain insights and guidance for both personal and professional development. And so looking at conversation topics you may want to consider: career advice, managing work-life balance, and dealing with challenging situations. There are a few of the things that I've sought out with mentors over the years. And these conversations are confidential between mentor and mentee. It is a personal and private relationship between yourselves. So how does the program work? As Michelle's already said, all the connections are made through our online portal, mentorshiprocket.com. So for all the registrations that we've had through today, and as Michelle has already said, it's been such a phenomenal sort of take up so far that we've actually extended the program. So we had got a little bit of a wait list, and we are, Michelle and I are going to be now taking a look at that and reaching out to those of you. So if there's people on the line who haven't yet registered and are interested in being a mentee, please email myself or Michelle, and then we'll come back to you about that, because we really want to allow as many people as possible to take advantage of this. So this is definitely beyond pilot status. For all your mentees, as I say, you should have received your email to confirm your registration now. Make sure you've followed the instructions to log in to activate your account. And one of the top tip that we've learnt over the last week or so is there's a terms and conditions box. Sometimes it doesn't let you just tick that box. Make sure you open and read it. There's nothing onerous in there. It's not like trying to upgrade your Apple contract where it's 500 pages deep in really small type. We promise we made it as really simple for you. So when you go into the Crew UK mentor page, this is what your home page looks like. I've done a little bit of a screenshot here, and you can actually scroll down the page to see the different mentors. When you see someone that you're interested in, there's options to search by a particular field of expertise that you may be interested in, or it could be, there's a particular person that you want to seek out. When you find that person, click onto their bios and sessions, the blue tab, and that will take you then through to the next page, which is what the mentor's bio and session booking page looks like. So this is a sample here, and this is another one of our mentors. Have a read through the bio. If you decide this is someone that you want to connect with and get in a mentoring session, you then click on an available session to book on the blue. So just select the session that you want. The way the Mentorship Rocket's set up, it doesn't allow us to put time slots in. So a lot of our mentors are kindly actually giving us time slots as well that they're available and on set days. So we've added a line into the bottom of the bios there, which you can just see just shown on the left-hand side of the page. And that notes any times that are available for the dates that we've got. If there's no time specified, when you click through, you will have the opportunity to contact your mentor to confirm. So you've selected your session. What you then need to do to get your mentor's contact details is at the top of the screen, at the top of your login page, you'll see My Sessions. And clicking into the My Sessions section actually provides the detail of all mentors that you've booked sessions with. From doing that, you can then contact your mentor. You then should contact, I don't say you can, you should contact your mentor to confirm your meeting. And also, as we're all in this virtual bubble at the moment, however, fingers crossed, I keep hoping that we will be allowed out soon. You can then confirm, as well as confirming your meeting time. It's also about agreeing the location or the method of connecting. Is it going to be a virtual meeting such as Teams or Zoom, those sorts of platforms? To help to connect, we've also included a starter email button, which you can just see circled there on the right hand side, which you may choose to use in the first instance. I personally find these things great because I'm not very good at starting off emails. Once I get going, it doesn't stop, but it takes a while. Also on the page, just to highlight as well, there's the add to calendar. So as soon as you've booked in the session, if you click on the add to calendar link next to your mentor's name, that will then drop in the session booked into your calendar. Hopefully everyone's still on the call, no one's left yet. Okay, so just some top tips for success. And we'll say a lot of this actually has already been graciously covered by the panel. First and foremost, to really make the most of the opportunity of the introductions that we got here, is all about staying connected. So as I said, all in the initial bookings, they need to be made through Mentorship Rocket, but then immediately follow up with your mentor to confirm the booking, agree the location and method. And another top tip, and I've learned this through, before being a project manager, I was in sales, confirm, it's always good to confirm the meeting sort of in advance, 24, 48 hours, just to check all the arrangements there. Before meeting, learn about each other. So you may want to look at things like, LinkedIn, each of us LinkedIn profiles, the good old Google search. You may, mentees, another top tip is doing a little bit of research into your mentor's backgrounds, what their areas of expertise are, because that may help you then sort of hone in some more questions, more specific when you're putting together your questions or agenda for your meeting. Which then brings us through to being prepared. Before the meeting, mentees, this is your game here. So it's all about, determining before you meet, what are your objectives of the meeting? Prepare an agenda or have some relevant questions ahead of time. That will help steer you to gain the most out of this, the connection that you have. I'm going to share some resources after this event to help you put together some ideas that may help to develop those questions for you. And finally, this is a personal favourite of mine and Michelle's when we were speaking the other day, was be at your best. Just really like the way that sounds. And it's all about making the most of the opportunity that you've got there. Make sure that you are somewhere that you're not going to be interrupted. It's a really important meeting, in the same way that an important client meeting that you may have, you don't want to be interrupted. Try not to try to be in an area where you're not going to get easily distracted. If it's a virtual setting, close down your inbox so you're not getting your email pop-ups coming up, phones on silent. And then after your meeting, follow up, agree your next steps. It's all about that being proactive. So getting started, as we said, so here's just some sample questions, just a couple, and there's hundreds out there, some for the mentors and some for the mentees. And you'll see that the questions actually can dovetail into each other. As I said, we'll be sharing this after the launch. So we've put on some useful resources here. They're not the only ones out there, but there are some really good ideas on there. Okay, so what comes next? So after today is when it's the D-Day for us is sort of the official launch happens. So session bookings go live at 8 a.m. tomorrow. For all mentees, you log on to the Crew Mentorship Rockets portal, and you'll be able to see what sessions are available and more on the mentor information. And yeah, feel free to get started from there. And as Michelle said at the top of the call, I'm the program lead for the mentorship program. So if you require any support, my contact details are actually on Mentorship Rocket, but they're also here on the screen. And you've also got Michelle's details as well. So thank you. So it's all over to you now. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kelly. Kelly, while we unlock the PowerPoint, there's just for the mentees, and I'm keeping my eye on the chat as well. So it's each mentee is for over 6 months, 1 hour per month. You're 6 sessions for you to meet with people. And just to describe that a bit more, you can meet with 6 different individuals, or you can choose to meet perhaps with one mentor twice, and then take your additional meetings outside of Crew UK Connects, and then meet with 4 others. Our point is that the program is meant to be flexible for you and very straightforward, that you can choose your mentors. You can coordinate directly with the mentor about what times are good for them, good for you, prepare for the meeting, and then to schedule more time with that mentor if the 2 of you choose to do so. So we hope you find that beneficial. We hope that's helpful for you. And with that, I guess we're right on time. This is amazing. 5 panelists, Siobhan, and we're 3 minutes early. I love it. Okay, so with that, would really, really like to hear from the mentees. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts or considerations? Please take yourself off mute.
I think we have had one question come up in the chat box already, so just to address that one. So thanks, Annie, for your question. And that was asking about how to become a mentee in the process. As I said, contact Michelle and myself, and we can take that forward there for you. We've got a few more slots opening up, and we can look to get you the registration through for you that way.
Anu, I apologize. I messaged you privately. I just want to make sure Anu has our details and that she is okay to connect. Okay. The website will keep all of our contact details up as well within the mentoring drop-down menu within the Crew UK website. Kelly, are we celebrating that there are no questions, or are we celebrating any questions?
A little bit scared.
I have one question for you, Michelle and Kelly. This is Rebecca. So as far as booking the sessions with the 6 for the next 6 months, would you recommend once the portal opens tomorrow that we look to book all 6 of those sessions at once, or should we start, targeting one session, or would you recommend booking all of them so they don't fill up?
That's a great question. My advice to you would be to look at the mentors first and see. Each mentor, for instance, I think in June, there's 1 calendar day, but then for July, August, and so forth, I think June and December are the months that have 1 meeting, and then the rest have 2 sessions available. Rebecca, there's early bird gets the worm.
Yeah, no. I gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, we all like to be on time and, keep ourselves organized. So my advice would be to if you can, book out. Yes, it's very smart.
Great. Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome. Okay. So Lauren, Lauren, you asked a question, will a list of mentees be shared with a wider group for informal networking? Let me check for GDPR.
I was thinking just the same, Michelle. We just need to check that. It sounds a fantastic idea because it creates another network out of a network, but we just need to check that.
Yeah, I'm happy to check. I mean, Lauren, I hope you find this helpful. We're not being selective by any sense. We literally will just randomly put 4 or 5 names together, or 6 perhaps people, and invite you for a virtual get together, whether that be a coffee or something later in the evening, to meet and to network, and again to gain feedback about the mentorship program. But Lauren, I will get back to you about the availability of us to share other email addresses. Yes.
I guess the other thing, Michelle, is to the extent mentees want to think about becoming members of Crew, there's also, of course, all the networking opportunities that gives too. So that's also another option. Absolutely. And we'd be delighted to talk about the benefits of that. Any of the board and Michelle in particular as well.
Siobhan, you're spot on. We have had a fair share of mentors already sign up as members. So the community of Crew UK is growing, which is amazing. The application process is extremely straightforward. We have board members available to help with reference letters, and Crew Network has streamlined the process for applications. Few months ago, it used to take a very long time to be approved, and now it's a matter of hours. They've totally streamlined the approval process. So I'm pleased to share that. So we're happy to provide reference letters based on LinkedIn profiles, etc. The process is very quick, and the networking and programmatic opportunities are vast. They're growing. So if anyone has any questions about membership, I'm happy to help. Okay, I can't.
Does anyone? I was just going to say, sort of going.
Sorry,
go on,
I was just going to.
Go on. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to ask: do you have to be a Crew member to be able to benefit from the program, the mentee program?
That's a great question. So for this 6-month window, you do not need to be a member. As of January, you would need to be a member.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can just apply through emailing either Kelly or yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Good question. You're welcome. Good question.
Michelle, can I come in for a minute?
Of course you can, Jennie.
Hello, everyone. I'm one of the mentors, and I've been on the Crew board for some time. I'm Jennie Gibson. I'm really going to go back to Rebecca's comment about whether you book them all out at once. I think what you need to think about is really stand back a bit. And I think it was Adina who said about being self-reflective. And really think what you want to get out of this. Because it may be a long-term relationship, or it may be a quick win because you see that one of us has expertise in a particular area that you just need a quick update or infill on, a kind of download about how a part of the market works, or for me, what executive education should I get involved in. So spend some time thinking about how you're going to use your mentors so that when you book the session, you know why you booked it. That's just a bit of advice. So I don't want you to just go, oh my God, I'm going to panic, I've got to get it in. Because if you do that, you're going to find you may end up with people that you thought, well, she looked cool, but I'm not sure what I'm going to ask her or him. So just some ideas.
Yeah, Jennie, to compliment you, Alex Ward has just asked a question, I think, which is really important. So I'm gonna say something nuts and bolts-ish regarding Mentorship Rocket. If you find yourself really wanting to meet a mentor and they unfortunately are all booked up, keep checking with the system, because people's calendars change and sometimes availability may open back up even if someone is fully booked. So that's the sort of fluidness of the program. Alex, your question is a really good one. Would you recommend choosing a mentor within your specific sector or branching out? What I'd like to do is ask one of our panelists to answer that. Amanda, would you like to answer that one? The question is, would you recommend choosing a mentor within your specific sector or branching out?
I guess it depends what the question is. So it's kind of it's back to the point around, kind of what you're looking to get out of the session. So if it's helpful that the person, or you think it might be helpful that somebody really understands I don't know whether it's development or it might be, you know, kind of like brokerage or whatever, then obviously go for somebody with that kind of experience. But if it's more general, and you're kind of looking about, you know, what's the next stage of my career, or, you know, kind of how can I become a leader in the industry or something like that, then you look for sort of different qualities. So I guess, and just to build on what the last speaker said, I talked about sort of like the mentorship being a long-term relationship, which is probably what you might aspire it to be in time. But I'd equally like to reiterate what I think it was Jennie said, which was basically it can be short-term and actually very focused on a specific issue as well. And I think, you know, it's just using the right person for the right skill set. So I think it depends on the question, Michelle.
Siobhan, would you like to add?
I think that's spot on. And I think I would just add as well to that maybe in your own sector and your own sphere, you may already have heard points of view or had some mentorship. And sometimes when you encounter somebody from a different sphere, a different organisation, a different frame of reference, it can be quite refreshing, and it can actually open your mind to more. So I would be brave. I think I used the word be brave and confident earlier. Be brave to, if you feel actually this person might have experienced a very different organisation, but maybe I could learn something from that, then just be brave and confident and step out. It's often easier to stay in your comfort zone with an organisational sphere that you know, and don't feel you have to do that. But I think Jennie and Amanda's points are spot on. Be self-reflective about what you want to get out of it.
Excellent. This has been a mentorship session in itself, right? It's the best form of. Okay, with that, I always like to give time back to people. Everyone's busy. Everyone has a lot going on, and everyone's Zooming and virtual meeting all the time. But I just, on behalf of Crew UK, Crew Network, Adina and the Crew UK board, as well as Kelly, Amanda, and Jennie, thank you so much for dialing in today. We're so pleased to see such interest in this program, and we look forward to connecting with you over the weeks and months as the program unfolds. We're open to your feedback, and we're also very excited about the possibility and the success and the opportunity that's been provided. So with that, thank you for
Michelle, and good luck, everybody. Good luck.
Thank you.
Tomorrow is going to be very busy.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I look forward to speaking with some more of you soon.
Bye.
Bye.